I know my voice sounds so weird right now. I have a little bit of a cold, so just bear with me on this one. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope that you're having a lovely day. Thank you so much for being here, for watching and clicking on this video. My name is Justin, and today I'm bringing you my album review of Genesis' 8th studio album, Wind and Wuthering, released in 1976. Of course, with most of my videos and my album reviews, you can go back in a playlist that I'll put down below and watch all of my initial reactions to each song in this album. But without further ado, let's go! Wind and Wuthering was actually the album that I was most looking forward to hearing. After hearing Blood on the Rooftops, the first song that I heard from this album, I was immediately drawn in by, of course, the guitar, the chorus, just the entire mood of it all. So that song really set a precedent of what I was expecting out of the rest of the album, and what Genesis had to offer at this point. This album maintains the momentum from Trick of the Tail, and whereas that one felt like a launch pad for this new Peterless Genesis that was coming to the front, this feels more like an atmospheric piece of contentment for the band, kind of drifting in the inertia of the energy of Trick. This more monochromatic approach to their classic Genesis sound provides a lot of nuance and allotment for space. This is, to me, kind of like their rainy day album. And even the album cover itself provides a more intimate and gray color schemed portrait, especially when compared to the colors and the storybook designs of previous albums. And then if there's one thing that I can say that this album does better than pretty much every other album that I've heard so far except The Lamb, is that it flows and moves so well as a whole. Each track moves so naturally from one set to another set, from piece to piece. They just feel very organic in their movement. And even if the stories are completely different, like whether we're talking about a mistaken Messiah or a midnight mouse hunt. The opening track kind of captures this immediately, starting off with the energy and the gruff of Trick, while transitioning into this new weightless sound that they have with 11th Earl of Mar. So it's just really cool to hear the fog of Tony and Hackett eventually burn off here, revealing a spirited entrance. Phil is filled with drive and energy. Mike's rubbery bass fills the rhythmic gaps. I feel like Tony and Hackett really provide the meat of this track, from the gentle piano runs you got to the softly laid guitar about halfway through. This track shares the progression of classic Genesis while showcasing their more moodier and, to an extent, nocturnal sound. And while 11th Earl of Mar is a great opener for the band, I feel like it really picks up a different kind of degree of quality from One for the Divine forward. This being Tony's track, it was written during the process for Trick of the Tail, and to me it's one of the first and notable examples of just how much Tony's influence bleeds through this album. To beautiful effect, I would say. The piano mellotron combination is absolutely golden and stunning. The first half has a near cloudy and romantic appeal in it. Phil sings convincingly as actor and narrator to the story, and the way that the song drifts and changes after the "There he talked with water, and then the vine" is brilliant, and you can feel that that's where it leads into that atmospheric air to dancey delights soon afterwards. It's just a full package and complete song. Now, moving into Your Own Special Way, we have Mike's mellow melodies and Phil's pleasing pipes making a lovely piece of pop. It seems that not a lot of people really enjoy this track, but I think that it actually fits in incredibly well in the album, especially after the past two little mini epics that we've gotten. I think the melodies are strong and it just feels good. You know, the chorus is empowering. I feel like the song, while it may be more of a poppy ballad, it kind of fits as a little bit of a break from the things we've gotten before. The half point plays like a bedtime story being read to a child nearly napping, and the warmth of the final verse and chorus in the song feels very comforting, as if the sheet's being pulled up to your chin. What, Gorilla? Gorilla is just a tight and kind of exciting jam, Once again, kind of breaking up the past two epics, well, the first two epics on the album, with a sweeping orchestral flavor. Drumming is a standout here. Unabashedly, Phil is just piloting this track with fervor and flavor. Tony synths even get a little bit of a workout here with a nice drama-filled solo. And honestly, one of my favorite things in this track is that whistleblower fireworks sound effect that they got going on. It's just a kind of fun little addition that kind of swings the momentum of the music. I love that. All in a Mouse's Night is a Mouse Hunt sans Nathan Lane. This is a fun track, just as animated as Tom and Jerry is. Most of the albums that I've heard from Genesis have a track that plays a little bit more to the stage side rather than the studio side of the album. And I think that this song is actually maybe a little bit underrated, as it combines both very tastefully. The verse sounds appropriately sly, as if the band are trying to quietly sneak around. The pacing picks up with alarm as the drums roll and the melodies are expanded. I love the oh, 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 oh. The ending of the song, however, is something else. We get a fantastic solo from Hackett with huge presence from Tony and Phil, and the solo almost sounds out of place in the track, just because it's so up here. Like, I like this track, but the solo in the ending section is like so up here that it almost feels like it doesn't belong. And yet, they make it work. Blood on the Rooftops. The classically romantic guitar almost acts as Hackett's swan song and last love letter to us, the audience, gorgeously setting the scene for one of Genesis' best songs. And I know I didn't put the opening for this track in my top 5 Hackett solo moments, but you know, it would definitely be in the top 10. It's just not in the top 5 for me. You can go check out that video as well if you'd like. Incredibly powerful chorus, Phil's outstretched voice, the washes of Mellotron, everything just makes this to me a classic Genesis track. I really enjoy Mike's bass playing through the verse in this one, kind of like blossoms falling into place with Phil and Steve if you listen to the pacing. It's a great sonic representation of what the band was at this point. We begin to move towards the closing of the album with the final 3 songs, this final suite, Unquiet Slumbers for the Sleepers, In That Quiet Earth, and Afterglow. With Unquiet, the calm and collected rises of the strings, these eerie whistlings and vibrations in the air, a barren landscape acting as a prelude is presented, and to what follows. In That Quiet Earth is really not quiet at all. It's explosive, powerful drumming, sustained energy in Hackett. The bass is furious and maddening. There's a feeling of intense finality here, as if the band was told, hey, you only got 5 minutes left, and they were like, okay, we're gonna bring it down then. The theme woven in here is mystical, overpowering, and rich, and then you get into the riff from Hackett leading into Tony's solo. Oh my god. If I had done this review before listening to In the Cage and reviewing The Lamb, I would have probably said that this is my favorite solo from Tony. But I think that goes to In the Cage as of right now. But man, this is like a great solo. Oh my god. It's honestly one of the best I've ever heard from Tony. I mean, man, that's so good. And then after the fires are brought down, we return to the ashes in Afterglow. This is kind of like our return to Earth moment with the band playing the ending credits to scenes that we've witnessed. Dreamy echoes and swirls of melody enrapture the band, and there's a sweet sense of closure in Phil's voice. In some ways, the song is tonally similar to Special Way, but it feels more deserved here. Satisfying, especially after the last 2 pieces. It brings full circle a sense of closure, the same way that, for example, Los Endos would in Trick. Anyways, those are just a couple of my thoughts on each of the songs here on the album, but now let's get into my favorite moment, my favorite lyrics, and my song rankings for the album. So my favorite moment in the album is hopefully pretty obvious. It is Tony's solo in Quiet Earth. I mean, the Hackett's guitar lead into it, that crunchy riff, bum 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 bum. Phil's drumming, and of course Tony. Just like it's dizzying, it's intense. There's almost a an Eastern or African phrasing in the notes. I don't know, it just feels that heavy groove. I mean, that's just an awesome moment. My favorite lyrics on the album are actually from One for the Vine, and they are as follows. 50,000 men were sent to do the will of one. His claim was phrased quite simply, though he never voiced it loud. I am he, the chosen one. I just like the lyrics because you got so many people following this guy, and his claim was phrased quite simply. Like, who are they really following? Is this just kind of a blind faith moment? He even says he never really voiced it loud. I just think that that's kind of interesting. This story of this, like I said before, mistaken Messiah. I just think that's kind of, I don't know. There's a little meat in that story. And then my song rankings for the album, In That Quiet Earth, Unquiet Slumbers for the Sleepers, Afterglow. I'm considering those all one song, so I'm just kind of putting them all at the top. Blood on the Rooftops, One for the Vine, Your Own Special Way, All in a Mouse's Night, 11th Earl of Mar, Wot Gorilla. Hope that you guys enjoyed the album review. Thank you as always for being here. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think of the album as a whole? What are your favorite songs? Your favorite lyrics? All of that stuff. If you'd like, you can follow me on Twitter. You can support the channel on Patreon. You can buy a shirt if you'd like. But otherwise, I hope that you had a good time. Thank you for being here, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.